consensus on expanding the
They do it every day. They have negotiations all around this state on a regular basis between labor and management, between teachers, unions, and school districts. We've always had a state that's been very open to having healthy labor management relations. And that's what I'm interested in, making sure that we have the right balance between those two competing interests.
Do you feel right now this isn't the common ground, this isn't that balance, or that right balance?
Correct.
On the bottom.
Do you think the pendulum has swung too far in favor of the labor side?
Well, we haven't had the balance because we haven't gotten the input that is necessary to make sure that we strike the right balance.
Has the governor's office, you were mentioning the stakeholders, have you heard from some of the stakeholders, the city councils, the school boards, the county supervisors, and what's their general consensus? And what are they asking for?
There is a lot of questions being raised, and I think it's my obligation and my responsibility as governor to hear those, to listen to and to hear from those that have questions and concerns. And we've gotten a lot of fair questions about this legislation.
Democratic leaders would say, and they've said throughout this process, that it's a very modest proposal, that it shouldn't be controversial. But yet we're hearing from you yesterday and now today. It sounds like you don't agree with that.
We need to discuss this legislation. We need to seek input. We need to not be afraid to have more discussion. And then I think we'll all feel more comfortable about the final piece of legislation. Again, it's no different than the way we handle other public policy matters that come before this Capitol. And I think it's important that we have the courage to take the time necessary to arrive at a final decision. And I have expressed that concern on many occasions. Lieutenant Governor has done the same. We did it again yesterday. We asked that they pause. And the legislative bodies on both sides decide not to. So here we are.
Governor, not so long ago, the Democrats were talking about how historic it was that Democrats had taken over both chambers of the House as well as the governorship, and you're poised to accomplish so much. What has happened with that relationship?
Well, we have accomplished a great deal. We've accomplished more in the last 15 months than arguably any legislative body in recent history. And I'm very proud of those accomplishments. And I believe that we stand ready to work together to continue to build on those accomplishments. But I am wanting to do that in a way that brings some common sense to the process. We've stressed the importance of trying to arrive at bipartisan consensus. I think it's important that our administration is at the table and involved in major public policy initiatives, and that's frankly to be expected. So it's important that we find the right balance between the executive branch and the legislative branch, putting the people's interest first. And that's my number one focus. I have been elected by nearly 2 million voters of this state, and I am trying to make the very best decisions I can on a daily basis to be fair about those decisions and the process that we use to arrive at them.
Clearly not everything can be debated in legislation. Would you have liked to see more debate on same-sex marriage in this session, maybe a formal vote, more discussion, and kind of passing it off to the Supreme Court?
You know, we've got literally dozens and dozens of issues that every year we have a choice as to what we want to debate and discuss. And We try to prioritize those issues based on public sentiment, and I think the legislature has done a good job in terms of picking and choosing from that list of things that are most pressing.
Would you like to see more debate on it?
We've got our hands full right now with a lot of debate on a lot of issues, including the one that I'm focused on quite a bit this morning.
We have time for about one more question.
With the funnel deadline approaching, lawmakers haven't passed the kind of scaled back bottle bill. Are you concerned that that's not going to get addressed this year? And what do you think that says about the state and kind of environmental issues?
Well, I started the press conference today talking about my hope that these important legislative initiatives that our administration has highlighted make it through the funnel deadline by the end of the week. And so I'm hopeful that they will.
I mean, it hasn't been passed by any chamber yet. Lawmakers really haven't been discussing it. Have you heard anything from Democratic leaders?
We've made a lot of progress on that piece of legislation. It's moving its way through the House. I think I'm pleased that we made the first funnel deadline, and I hope and expect we'll make the second one on Friday. So I think that issue is working its way through.
Have you heard anything from them?
Yeah, I've heard very encouraging things in published reports from Majority Leader McCarthy, for example. He said that the bottle bill has a real chance of passing in the House.
Do you think there's any holdup at this point?
No, I just say that's why I started by saying we've got a lot on our plate this week, and I hope that we can get through those major initiatives that I've highlighted here this morning. I'll take one more from Ron. No, he is the hardest working.
Unwanted bipartisan consensus. Does that mean when you meet with leaders, it will be Republican and Democratic leaders, or are you going to start just meeting with Democrats?
I've been meeting with leaders on both sides all session long. I've made a point of doing that since I've been the governor. So we will be talking to leadership on both sides of the aisle, as we have been for this session and last session. And exactly that we have not scheduled those meetings, but I look forward to continuing that important discussion and dialogue. And we've got, again, this is an important issue, but we have a lot of the people's work that we have to do. And getting the budget done is going to be a major undertaking as well. And so the clock is ticking. The Lieutenant Governor and I stand ready to get the people's work done. Thank you all.